Shades of green. How many greens can you see? Today is day 3 of me going live for the next 30 days. And today I want to talk about selling, ideal clients, and how you can improve your sales and how you can welcome in your ideal clients. I firstly want to say that people are buying. And I always do the clicks when I talk to clients. People are buying all around the world, all at the same time, every second of every day. It is happening. So even though everything in you wants to say, but people are not buying, people are, cost of living crisis, all of this stuff, all true. The economy, all sorts of stuff going on there. But people are still buying. And do you know what people are doing in a cost of living crisis? Is they're still going out for pub food, to cafes, to restaurants, and they're not even finishing their plate. They are spending more money on, say, a fish and chips than they've ever spent before in the UK, and they're not finishing it. They're not eating the whole thing. They're ordering 3 or 4 starters and there's like bread left on the table, which just blows my mind because my partner is like, have you finished with that? I'll eat that. And now my son is the same. So there are never any leftovers in our house. It really gets eaten to the point also where I have to go shopping and then kind of not put limits on things, but it's like this is food for the next 3 days, not for the next 3 hours. So this idea that we're telling ourselves that nobody's buying, that it's really hard, it is a story, essentially. It's different. It's different to say 2020 when everybody was online, but it's just a story because people are purchasing all the time. What I am finding, though, is that people are much more cautious, discerning. They ask more questions. They need a bit more time. And they're not just doing things willy-nilly. I remember those moments in the 90s, for example. My mum would very much have let's just get it, because it was fun. It was, or even when the internet came out, like people would order stuff online just because it's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to get it because it's going to arrive at my house tomorrow. I'm going to order it from my computer and it's going to come tomorrow. But now in this time, I think people are thinking about the way that they spend, and they are really doing their own work. They're doing their own work on themselves. There's so much healing, unraveling, self-awareness happening all the time. You know, I like to have a little listen in to the conversations that are going on the bus or the tube, and people are talking in very different ways. Back in the day, it was very much like make your bed and lie in it, and you just would be like, well, this is who I am, and this is, life's a bitch and then you die was one of the expressions that I heard growing up. And it's like, well, I just don't think people are doing that. So people are seeing themselves in different ways. I really think that there is no better time to be in the industries of transformation, whether that's food, whether that's drink, whether that's exercise, whether that's well-being, whether that's sleep, taking care of yourself, coaching, information, education. We are all seeking it. But here's what's changed. Because the market has opened up much more, as in people are much more open to change and investing in themselves and all of these things, they are making sure that they're going to be in the right places and the spaces because they've got so much choice now. So if somebody is, say, looking for a therapist, they're not just going to pick the local one in their village because that's what is available to them. They're going to do their research. They're going to have a couple of discovery calls. They're going to see how they gel with that person. And so if you think about yourself as the business owner, as the service provider, there are people who are looking at your stuff and figuring out whether or not you are for them. right now. They are thinking about things. They're also thinking about other people as well. And they're not in that stage of committing. And so when you think about selling your products and your services, you need to be able to provide lots of points along the way where people can get to know you. And also, because people are doing this work, this healing, this thinking, this reframing, this education, whatever it might be, they're doing all this behind the scenes. They're doing it all at different times of the day. So they're listening on podcasts, they're talking in the car, they're reading a book on the bus, they're watching a YouTube video whilst they have their breakfast. There are so many different things that they are doing. And so if you can provide that content where you give that information, where you share who you are, where you really take people behind the scenes of your business and build that know, like, and trust and build that relationship with somebody, that person is much more likely to buy. Will they buy immediately? Maybe. There will be some people, and I have had it myself in my business, where I have got on a discovery call and I'm thinking, I don't know this person very well. I've never spoken to them before, or maybe I've spoken to them once, but only 20 years ago. And I'm thinking in my head, they're probably going to sign up for one session or like my monthly package. I spoke to somebody for 10 minutes and they did my high-end program, 100 days, 100 club moment. And that even shocked me. But what I had not anticipated was that not only was that person ready and qualified in their own right, they had been building that relationship with me without me knowing about it. They'd watched so many pieces of content. They'd had listened to my podcast. They'd been a subscriber of my YouTube for so long. They'd been on my mailing list, but they'd never responded. They had been doing that work. And so what I want you to think about is how you can begin to create from that place where you are feeling vibrant and ready and creative and jolly and full of stories. And you can create something once and put it onto the internet, put it onto your website, and then people can get to know you in their own time. And so once you've created that, you're then on to the next thing. There are going to be some people who will watch and think and ponder and research and consider for so many times. And then there are some people who see you and they go, I'm booking that. This is exactly the person that I need and want. And so making sure that whilst people are thinking and hoping and wishing and wondering and watching another piece of content and procrastinating, how can you still continue to welcome the money in? Now, there are some people who's like, the only way to work with me is to work with me for 6 months at a time. That's the only thing I do. That is fantastic if you've A, got an audience, and B, you constantly know how to get leads into your business. People who are ready to go. However, if you don't have a big audience and you don't have a big network of people who are ready and qualified, as it were, to come and pay you, it's going to be really difficult. I have also seen what can happen when you have a pricing menu. So there are some moments where somebody has started where they've watched a free workshop and then they've paid for one of like a £10 workshop that they had. And then they might come and do like half a day seminar. Then they'll come and see me speak. Then they'll book one session. Then they'll come back and book a session of 3. Then they'll book a single session again. And then finally they might go, do you know what, Nikki, I want to do this for 6 months. Can we have a session every single month for 6 weeks? For 6 months rather. And often the answer is yes, if I've got space and capacity and I think it's a good fit. So what we need to think about in terms of the takeaways is how can people build a relationship and do all of their due diligence and thoughts and feelings without you having to convince them on a call. And I call this my create, not convince method. I have zero interest in cold calling people, in pressurizing people to work with me, into doing sleazy, scaremongering situations. No, thank you. I don't want to do it, and I won't do it because I've had it done to me and it doesn't feel good, and I never want to buy. We want to really do our own work and consideration and think about what would be useful to us. So, unless you want to have a drone strapped to you 24/7 and always being online and being here, there and everywhere, you have to provide those places and spaces where people can explore without you doing that legwork. So one of the things that my kids love to do, it's one of their favorite things, is to go to a brand new restaurant that they've never been to. Obviously, they're only going to restaurants where they know that they're going to really love the food and it's going to tick all their boxes. But what they love to do in advance is to look at the menu and to be like, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to have 2 courses, and oh, I don't know what pudding I'm going to have. They love all of that build up. And by that company, by that restaurant, by that pub, putting it on their website, we can do that without them having to convince us to come. And we might have 3 different restaurants on 3 different tabs on my computer. Which one are we going to choose? Oh, why don't we go there? Because we went there last time. And all of that can work in your favor. Your ideal clients are looking for you. They are looking for solutions. They're not in a place and space. Very few people, actually, certainly the people I'm hanging out with, are not in a place where it's like, well, that's it for me. I guess I'm just going to have to like it or lump it. They're not. They're not. They are optimizing. They are elevating. They are thinking about their life. They want to maximize things. And certainly, you know, my Nana lived to 98 and a half and I'm 44. And in perimenopause, it can be very easy to think, well, like, oh gosh, it's all downhill from here. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I'm just getting started. And so the final thing I want to share with you is this. Whatever it is that you're doing, you've got to get behind. You can't have that lukewarm energy about your business in this time. Even if you are feeling it. Even if everything in your bank account, in your data, in your day-to-day life is like, oh yeah, nothing much is happening. You have to keep focused on where you're going rather than being stuck in that moment. We've all been on those long walks where you're all trying to get to the pub at the end of it. And you've got some moaner next to you going, oh, I hate the rain. I don't like it. It's awful. And it's like, hang on a minute. You're not only ruining this moment, but you're really pulling back the energy. Like, let's talk about the pub. Let's talk about what we're going to eat and drink. Let's talk about like how massive the fire is going to be when we get there and how lovely it's going to be able to sit down for a moment. And let's play a board game or do a jigsaw whilst we're there or whatever it might be. I would love you to check out Your Digital Disco. This is my online experience and there are 3 ways to join. So you can do it one-on-one with me in options 2 or 3. But Your Digital Disco is everything from your website, your online presence, your content, your social media, what Google says about you, all of it. And Your Digital Disco is very strategically named. I want it to be moving and shaking and lively and vibrant and alive and have that sense of like, oh, I want to be here. This feels like a place where I'm going to get some answers. This feels like a place where I want to spend time in. And most people are doing the opposite when it comes to their online presence. They're like, oh, I better like post some content today. That's the equivalent of somebody who owns a disco saying, I better try and get some people to come and have a dance today. I'm not going to put the music on too loud though, because I'm not really feeling it and probably nobody's going to come. You can't have that energy. If you want to create that vibey, exciting business, you've got to create it first. You want to be chatting to people in that situation rather than being like, another day, Another day where nobody's going to show up. We've all felt that energy when we go into a shop and the person behind the counter barely looks up because they're like, I bet she's not going to buy anything. Haven't made any sales today. And they're questioning their life choices, and you think, well, actually, I might buy something. Let's have a chat. Tell me what I should buy. I might have money burning a hole in my pocket that I want to spend in this shop because I saw it from the outside and I loved it and I wanted more and I wanted to be there. And so if you are struggling to find those ideal clients, those sales, that energy in your business, you have to go back to you. Society, the economy, the trends, the algorithm, AI, whatever we want to name and blame it on, it's always going to change, always. But what you can do is cultivate that within yourself. If you would love to come and work on your digital disco and get it to that vibey place that somebody is always talking about, you can just literally go to nikkiraby.com/digital disco. There are 3 ways to join. Make sure you add magic at checkout, and I will see you in there. Maybe if you've got questions or you'd prefer to do this work in a strategy session, if you want to work on your content, if you want to get your energy up around your business, send me a message. I'm gonna finish up now. Nice to see you, but I'll catch you later. Lots of love.